So there's been a lot of threats. If this president's going to be in power, I'm going to move.
Yeah.
Is Canada expecting an influx of American immigrants, or is that overblown?
That's overblown. You can expect an influx of American visitors to Canadian immigration websites, but that's about it.
Aaron Ettinger teaches political science at Carleton University in Ottawa, Canada. Tomorrow we hear how Mexico is preparing for a second Trump administration. It's Morning Edition from NPR News. I'm Leila Fadel.
And I'm Steve Inskeep. And I'm Michael Hill. Marketplace Morning Report is coming up next and later on Morning Edition. In 1989, the hip-hop group De La Soul broke onto the scene with a new and necessary playfulness, but battles with the music industry soon dimmed that light. Now a new book tells their story. You've got to hear this conversation with A. Martinez coming up next hour, right here on Morning Edition.
It's just me, myself, and I.
52 and sunny now, sunshine at 65 today.
Me, myself, and I. Now you tease my plug one style and my plug one spectacle. You say plug one and two are hippies nowhere, not just pure plug four. Always pushing that we formed an image, there's no need to lie. When it comes to being plug one, it's just me, myself, and I.
WNYC is supported by IBM. With IBM Watson X, businesses can build a custom AI assistant that can leverage their trusted data and be trained on their workflows. It can be tuned to do just what businesses need. More information at ibm.com/productivity.
The risks of being an angel investor.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Schwab. Schwab knows that investors want control of their financial future. That's why when it comes to wealth management, Schwab is dedicated to giving investors more choices. More at schwab.com.
I'm David Brancaccio. First President-elect Trump has appointed Brendan Carr to head the Federal Communications Commission. Carr's already the senior Republican on the 5-member commission, which regulates the internet, broadcasting, and communications. Marketplace's Nova Safo has more.
Brendan Carr has already served at the FCC for 12 years. He authored a chapter on the agency in the Project 2025 blueprint written by many of Trump's allies and former staffers. Among other things, Carr wants to ban TikTok, reduce media ownership limitations, and narrow Section 230 protections, which shield social media and tech companies from lawsuits over content moderation practices. Carr posted on X, formerly Twitter, that as chairman he would end diversity, equity, and inclusion policies which seek to eliminate structural disadvantages for people and communities. I'm Nova Safo for Marketplace.
And there's confirmation this morning that Trump has chosen oil and gas executive Chris Wright for Secretary of Energy. Wright, who leads Liberty Energy, advocates U.S. energy dominance and is a top critic of efforts to stop climate change. Americans tell pollsters about high prices leaving them strapped for cash, yet in the aggregate, consumers have been shopping and shopping, with retail sales up 0.4% in October, more than expected. Sales a month earlier had jumped even more. Strong jobs are part of this, but so is debt. Marketplace's Mitchell Hartman has that.
Americans splurged on discretionary purchases in October. New cars, electronics, eating out. Two factors are driving this, says nationwide economist Kathy Bostjancic.
Employment growth resilient, wage growth very solid.
The question is, how much longer can this continue?
Bernard Baumol at the Economic Outlook Group says consumers' finances are deteriorating.
Credit card debt has now jumped to record levels. Interest rates on these credit cards are the highest in 30 years. And delinquency rates have picked up substantially on auto loans and on credit card debt.
One result, says Denny Cohen-Emsey at research firm Morning Consult,
divergence between the high versus the low income. The lower income whose personal finances have been strained, they are not willing to spend as much as they used to.
While she sees middle-income households
walking away from purchases because of the price, it's becoming harder for them to go out and splurge in this holiday season.
It's high-income consumers who are driving spending the most, says Nationwide's Kathy Bostjancic.
Asset holders feeling wealthier.
Stock prices, home prices are way up, so their owners are spending it up. I'm Mitchell Hartman for Marketplace.
Plane tickets are still good. Schedules will remain, but there's news today that Spirit Airlines has filed for protection from its lenders ahead of a restructuring. The New York Times cites data showing this is a common story, that airlines have filed for bankruptcy 180 times in recent decades. Stock index futures are mixed. For the Dow, down 0.4%, but NASDAQ futures are up 0.3%. S&P futures are little changed.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Rubrik, a cybersecurity company focused on securing the world's data. When cyber attacks put businesses, reputations, and careers at risk, Rubrik provides the power to bounce back fast and become cyber resilient. Rubrik.com. And by Total Wine and More. With so many bottles to choose from, Total Wine helps make it easy to find everyone's favorite. Drink responsibly. Be 21.
In a turnabout that has taken years, a new report finds that women now make up nearly half of angel investors, a field that used to be male-dominated. Angel investors put money into fledgling startups in return for partial ownership. 46% of angels are now women, using data compiled by the Center for Venture Research. This week, we're looking at this from a variety of angles. Today, a seasoned pro in this risky business of getting promising startups off the ground. Deb Kemper is a managing partner at Golden Seeds Venture Fund. Welcome to the program.
Oh, you're welcome. Happy to be here.
Help me with your thought process. What are some of the questions you're asking yourself if someone comes by with an idea that needs money?
So the first thing I look for is it unique? And do they have some secret sauce in terms of what they're doing? So, what's the customer problem they're trying to solve? Do they really understand that customer? And do they have a unique solution to how they're solving that customer's problem? So that's at the bottom line what we're looking for.
If the company that you invested in scores, if it's successful, I mean, can be a big upside. But I'm curious about the conversation you might have with yourself about risk. It's risky. Some of these do fizzle, and that can be very hard.
Oh, it's brutal. First, it's brutal on the founders and those teams and those employees of those companies. But it is a factor in this industry. We're on the bleeding edge of technology and markets, and some are going to work and some are going to fail. So you have to get comfortable with that. As an investor, you get comfortable with that by only putting so much of your portfolio into high-risk companies. It's always hard when a company fails, but what you have to do is, when I work with those founders after, it's talk about the success they did have and what they brought to the market, and then how can they leverage that on whatever they choose to do next. And so you try to take away the wins, but it is extremely emotional when these companies go down.
So let's just talk about the shift in the angel investor landscape that you've been actually part of. When you started out, there weren't all that many women who were angel investors. That's partly what Golden Seeds seeks to address. You've seen the data. I've now explored the data. That percentage is much higher now. Not parity, but heading in that direction.
It is heading in that direction. But I think part of it is that groups like Golden Seeds provide a place for women and for men to learn about the sector. And so we provide training for members, helping them understand the lingo, helping them understand the risk, right, and the risk profile of these companies and get comfortable with that risk. And that's where I think groups like Golden Seeds have done a great job in educating folks on that they can be angels. I think a lot of times people think they need more capital than they may actually have to do it. And it helps make it an easier entry point into these investments.
Deb Kemper, managing partner at Golden Seeds Venture Fund. Thank you very much.
Thank you, David.
Tomorrow we'll hear from a CEO who's gotten multiple rounds of angel money. Her company has technology that works to quickly detect concussions. I'm David Brancaccio, Marketplace Morning Report. From APM, American Public Media.